afternoon. It's the Prophet here. We're doing the NCAA breakdown of the national championship game. That's right. We got 3 months of regular season action, over 40 bowl games behind us. Now in the rearview mirror, and as all that matters is Monday's showdown between number 1 Clemson and number 2 Alabama. How do you come in as 14-0, number 1 in the nation, and you're the underdog by a touchdown? You know, after this, there's no football for at least 7 more months. At least none that matters anyway. So when this battle sets forth in Phoenix, Arizona, at the University of Phoenix Stadium, will it be Clemson and its star quarterback Deshaun Watson that prevail, or can Alabama running back Derrick Henry lead his team to its 4th national title in its last 7 years? That's what we're asking. That's what this debate is all about, guys. You know, I've got some expert picks here that I'm going to go over. I'm going to be honest with you, after watching Alabama obliterate Michigan State like they did, it's hard for me to give Clemson much of a chance in this game, to be honest with you. While the Tigers are more athletic than anything that Alabama's faced all year, all that means is Clemson will be able to keep it within 38. You know, I mean, more athletic than the Spartans for sure. And that's what the Spartans did, was 38-0. Bama may never have played better under Saban than what they've played the last 6 or 7 games of this season. Check me, but I'm pretty sure in the history of college football there is no team that's went 14-0 and had to explain why they're the underdog in the national championship game. Guys, listen to me. This won't be a shootout, and the Tide should be able to win this game fairly handily, in my opinion. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give you my scores and how I think it's going to. But don't be surprised if Alabama has to come back to win this game. Don't be surprised. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with the S&P rankings. S&P rankings, if you want to break down, you know, Clemson is top 10 on both sides of the ball in the first 3 quarters. Plain and simple. They're top 10 on both sides of the ball in the first 3 quarters. But they're not so good in the 4th, on defense especially. Could it be that, you know, they're young and thin on defense? I think something I'd want to face Derrick Henry against, you know, for sure. And Dabo he's a hell of a coach. He's done a hell of a job. You got 2 coaches going head-to-head here that are completely different as far as personality and the way they motivate their teams. From everything I've heard about both of them anyway. I don't know, I've met Sweeney one time, but never have met Saban. Never talked to him. And in the meeting with Sweeney was just a handshake and go on and go, you know, so on and so forth. I'm going to tell you though, Deshaun Watson's going to need a special game for Clemson to win this. He's capable of it. There's no doubt about it. He's definitely capable of it. The X factor in this game though will be special teams, in my opinion. I really believe it will, and there is where Alabama has a decided advantage. A huge advantage is on special teams. You know, Clemson has a special player who can carry them to a national championship in Deshaun Watson. So does Alabama. They got Derrick Henry. You know, I'm going to take Alabama to win the game outright, and I'll give you my final score, you know, what I think about covering the spread and everything's going to be. Like I said, don't be surprised if they have to come back to win this game, Alabama. But what I'm looking at is, right now we don't know if Shaq Lawson's going to play. That's still up in the air. If he don't play, they don't come close to shutting down Derrick Henry, guys. Not even in the 2nd quarter, 1st quarter, 3rd quarter. By the 4th quarter, he's averaging 8 to 10 yards a carry against this defense. According to the S&P rankings at least. You know, Sweeney's built a program that's become an annual contender in the ACC. He really has. I mean, they're a good team year in, year out in the ACC. And, you know, just year before last, we had an ACC team win the national championship in Florida State, but they were a huge favorite against that SEC team in Auburn down there, but barely got by, if y'all remember correctly. Took a touchdown pass to Kelvin Benjamin from Jameis Winston. I mean, you're talking about 2 first-round draft picks. And last year was number 1 overall, and he's actually proved to be a pretty good NFL quarterback this year. I just don't, wow, man. I mean, you're asking them to step in a big set of shoes here, and what they do is out there in Alabama is just amazing. year in, year out. Saban, he just don't lose when it comes to this time. He lost last year in the playoff game against Ohio State. Yeah, he did, and he was up 21-6, if I'm not mistaken, something like that, and come back and lost. And what you got to look at, though, is, it ain't just Derrick Henry right now. Jake Coker is on fire. Jake Coker is on fire right now, man. I mean, now he ain't got air raid type numbers, but I mean, he's like 700 yards in his last 3 games, a 73% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, but in an Alabama offense, that's pretty damn good numbers for a quarterback, and especially when you already have to worry about stopping Derrick Henry. So that's why I'm definitely leaning toward Alabama to win the game. Like I said, I'll give you my spread line, my actual score at the end. We did go 3 for 4 today in the NFL playoffs, and this show's done for the Gambler's Edge. Brian McKinstry. And we're also on all the big dog networks, AM, live. 95 out of Atlanta live. And, I was mentioning the S&P rankings earlier. I'm going to tell you how big of a difference it is. Clemson, they beat Notre Dame, if y'all remember correctly. I think it was in Death Valley. And that's probably their biggest win, them or Florida State on the season. I think Notre Dame ended up with 22 points, but 19 of them come in the fourth quarter. That's why I said don't be surprised if Alabama has to come back and win this game. But I don't see them being too far behind if they can't do it. All right. I also believe that you're going to see a lot of Debo Swinney trying to pull some trick plays out here, and that's what he would have to do, in my opinion, to get this game. I mean, the defense of Alabama is just like a pro defense. They're big, they're huge, they're physical, and I think they can overwhelm Clemson just, to cover the number possibly, but maybe not. I mean, it's hard to say. Like I said, I'll give you my prophet says at the end of the show. I mean, Deshaun Watson looked sensational against Oklahoma. He really did. He looked sensational against Oklahoma. And he's going to have a game at least that good, if not better, to even have Clemson in this game. Okay? He really is. It's what he's going to have. Like I said, we got some expert picks here I'm going to share with you as well. Hammerin' Hank Goldberg, as people know him, he says it's 31-17 Alabama. Okay? Now, Dennis Dodd, I believe, picks Alabama and Clemson to cover. Alabama to win with Clemson to cover. And I'll give you all these expert picks in just a second as I get to them. Let's see here. Yeah, Dennis Dodd. He's got Alabama to win and cover handedly. John Solomon's a national writer for USA Today. He's actually got against the spread. All these guys have taken Alabama to win the game, but a couple of them have taken Clemson to cover. And that's why we're giving them to you. I want y'all to, this is what they say, the X factor in the game, special teams, which I mentioned that earlier. Jerry Palm, he's an playoff expert. I don't know where that title come from. He says, I'm taking Alabama to win and cover for 2 reasons. It has the best talent and the best coach. Okay. This is not meant in any way to disparage Clemson and Swinney, which have had a terrific season. Watson, an All-American defensive end, Shaq Lawson lead a very talented team that has yet to lose. Swinney's built a program that's become an annual contender. Alabama's offense matches up with Clemson's defense better than it did with that of Michigan State. Ooh. And the Tide still scored 38 against the Spartans. Clemson offense matches up better with Alabama's defense. The Spartans did, but Alabama will wear the Tigers down the end and come away with a comfortable win, he says. Tom Pernelli, he's a college football writer. I take Alabama, he said, because let's be honest, the Tide just feels like a death machine right now. It's impossible to pick against him, particularly Jake Coger playing the way he's played, which I mentioned earlier. Clemson's definitely good enough to keep things close, and I'm sure it will, which is why I'm taking them against the spread. But as for who will win, it's Roll Tide and all that. Chip Patterson, college football writer. Most of the matchup advantages points to an Alabama win. Bet line points to an Alabama win. If Coker shows up, completes more than 75% of his passes like he did against Michigan State, Alabama wins and wins easy. But there's no way that I'm going to pick a blowout victory against a Clemson team that not only hasn't lost yet, but has come up with answers every time it's been tested. This team identity may have been forged in the historic rainfall that drenched Death Valley as Clemson made a stand on an extra point to beat Notre Dame. Sweeney's BYOG, which means bring your own guts, may have a different feel now that it has been co-opted as an unofficial marketing slogan for the program. But that game, where Watson didn't play great and a young Clemson defense had its depth tested, made me a believer. I take Alabama to win, but Clemson will find a way to be in it till the very end. Robbie Kalin, this guy's a college football writer and has been for a long time. Simply put, Alabama is the best team in the country with the best college defense I've ever seen. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I haven't seen a college defense that was anything close to what these guys. Just like I said earlier, they're playing like a professional defense, an NFL-style defense right now. Their front seven is ferocious, absolutely ferocious. They're going to have the Mike linebacker will be isolated on Watson most of the game. Now, here's where it comes in. Now, how much of the read option they run can make a difference, and how well he runs that read option, we're giving it to that running back. You know, Clemson's got the only team in the Power Fives, got 2,000-yard rushers this year. I think it's Pennell is running back with Clemson, and also, you know, Watson. Both of them run for over 1,000 yards. And so the Alabama defense is so ridiculously good that I honestly think it can neutralize this Clemson offense a little bit and force the game to be played at their pace. You know, eventually I see Alabama offense finding a little bit of success and pulling away late. Like I said, you know, to earn a decent win, possibly comfortable win, is the way I got it figured. But I'm going to be honest with you, and this is how I'm going to break this game down. I think at the end of the first quarter, Clemson holds a 7-3 lead at the end of one. At halftime, I'm going with Clemson 14-10. All right. At the end of the third quarter, 17-17. We're all tied up. And at the end of four, I got Alabama starting to pull away. 31-24. So if you get the 6.5 point line, you're going to take Alabama. If it's 7, it's a push. You got any more than that, take Clemson. I mean, that's my play right there. Over and under is whatever it is. I don't see it being 55, okay? But I see the final score possibly being that high. It's not going to be a shootout, like I said earlier. It's not going to be a shootout. It's not going to be a 60-point, total. It's not going to be, the final score is not going to be 38-31. But I do see Alabama, scoring 2 touchdowns in the last quarter, is what I see, with Derrick Henry just pounding that ball. We'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, if you're in the CSRA, don't forget to go check out Just Beds. There's 6 locations in the CSRA to choose from. They're running an unbelievable sale right now, an unbelievable 36 months, no interest sale. That's justforbedsontheweb.com for a location nearest you. They've been serving the CSRA for over 20 years. That's right, serving the CSRA for over 20 years. They got Server Perfect Sleepers, queen size, on sale for as low as $289 this month. Go get you a nice mattress now from justbedsontheweb.com or Just Beds, one of 6 locations right here in the CSRA. Alright guys, we're back. And like I said, I've given you my final score. I believe Alabama wins this game 31-24. This is one I'd like to see I get wrong. I got a lot of friends of mine that's Clemson fans, but it gives them some bragging rights over me and us Bulldog fans, but that's fine. I wouldn't mind seeing Clemson win one. So Nick Prater, Drew Miller, all y'all guys. I hope y'all